Earlier this year, we watched Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor fall victim to his greatest enemy yet, Disney's stubborn greenlighting process. In his place, we were reintroduced to Billie Piper, who appeared to be playing the 16th Doctor. However, the closing credits did not confirm her as the Doctor, nor have we received any indication that this was the case, and we currently have no idea who she's actually playing. The Bad Wolf Entity, Metacrisis 2, Electric Boogaloo, the TARDIS? Your guess is as good as Russell T Davis's. As a result, there's a distinct possibility that Piper isn't playing the next mainline Doctor, or even the Doctor full stop. So if not her, then who? I'm Sean Ferrick for Who Culture, and here are 10 actors who could play the 16th Doctor. Number 10. Matthew Bainton. Matthew Bainton has quietly become a recognisable face on British television, and his popularity is at a real peak thanks to the massive success of BBC's Ghosts and his recent stint on Taskmaster. In Ghosts, Bainton plays the hopelessly romantic Regency-era poet, Thomas, a character that is, for the most part, endearingly silly but more than a bit pretentious. Thomas spends much of the show expressing his unrequited love for the main character, but Bainton plays him with such sincerity and charm that you kinda can't help but love him. Despite this being a primarily comedic role, there are hints of Bainton's emotional chops throughout the series, and this ability to inhabit a character who is goofy on the surface but emotionally grounded underneath is Doctor 101. Bainton's career has been built on versatility. He's written and starred in Ghosts, Horrible Histories and Yonderland, playing multiple characters, both recurring and one-off, in each. He's a bit of a chameleon, shifting seamlessly between dozens of roles across a multitude of time periods, and he has a keen passion for history that is a marriage made in heaven for the show. Bainton sits within an age bracket that's been underexplored in New Who, striking a balance between the youthfulness of Gatwa and the maturity of Capaldi. His work suggests he could deliver a clownish Doctor with real eccentricity and heart, something in the vein of Matt Smith or Patrick Troughton. Number 9. Saran Jones. Saran Jones is already a familiar face to Doctor Who fans thanks to her unforgettable performance in The Doctor's Wife, where she played Idris, the living embodiment of the TARDIS. In that episode, the TARDIS is characterised much like the Doctor, frenetic, warm, and at times, sombre. We've already practically had an episode of Jones playing the Doctor in Doctor Who, and it's brilliant. She's also a staple of British TV outside the Whoniverse, and has showcased fantastic range and versatility. Her most iconic role is Dr. Foster, sees her playing a scorned wife navigating betrayal and revenge, a performance that doles out authority and vulnerability in equal measure, a tough balancing act, but one that Jones rises to. Recent years have also seen her take the starring role in Vigil, in which she finds herself thrown into a very Doctor Who premise, solving a murder mystery on an active military submarine. She's also shown that she can muster some wit and swagger in Gentleman Jack as Anne Lister, a character with more than a little of the Doctor's mischief. Jones has already proven her capability as a leading lady, and is a recognisable face in British primetime TV, without reaching the heights of stardom that are untouchable to Doctor Who. Casting her would probably make for a slightly more conventional Doctor, albeit one with some serious acting ability, but perhaps that's what we need right now. Number 8. Jodie Comer. Jodie Comer has proven herself a master of transformation, a quality that sits at the heart of the Doctor's identity. Her breakout and most famous role was as Villanelle in Killing Eve, a character that showcased her ability to switch from charming, often childlike and playful, to cold and deeply dangerous in an instant. As seen in Free Guy, she's also more than capable of showcasing the warmth and heart of the Doctor, not to mention her magnificent comedic timing. She's an actress that not only nails the sense of whimsy, but the gravitas too. And if you want evidence that Comer is a generational British talent, check out Help, a Channel 4 TV film set in a care home during the COVID-19 pandemic, and tell me that this woman doesn't have all the range required for any role. At 32 years of age, Comer will be one of our younger Doctors, bringing an energetic, nimble presence to the TARDIS. She's a Scouser too, another regional accent we've yet to see at the helm of the TARDIS, as fellow Liverpudlian Paul McGann had a much softer twang. Quite frankly, I'd love to see a Scouse Doctor, if only to watch the entirety of America complain about needing subtitles. Comer would likely bring us a darker incarnation with a stormier disposition, something of a mirror to Jodie Whittaker's more happy-go-lucky incarnation. She may be starting to dip her toe into Hollywood, as evidenced by such recent roles as her turn in 28 Years Later. She would absolutely be a get. Number 7. Omari Douglas. Omari Douglas shot to prominence with It's a Sin, a beautiful drama penned by none other than Russell T Davis, meaning this chap is already on the radar of our current, and until we hear otherwise, showrunner. As Roscoe, Douglas is a standout in every single scene. He's witty, spirited, but troubled and contemplative too. He's an actor with the charisma to demand your attention, but also the emotional subtlety and nuance to keep hold of it. But what sets Douglas apart is his confidence as an actor. He is magnetic on screen, without needing to raise his voice, a trait ideal for a Doctor, as is the ability to shift modes from one moment to another, a skill Douglas has already shown he's very capable of. He would likely play a confident and charming Doctor, more in the vein of Gatwa or Tennant, but he most certainly would bring his own energy to the role. This guy's a rising star and he's exactly the kind of actor the show should be eyeing up. With an existing connection to the man in charge, this one could even be a distinct possibility. Number 6. Ritu Arya. Ritu Arya is perhaps most recognisable for her role in The Umbrella Academy, a character that first joins the series as an antagonist, always a green flag for a Doctor actor, but later develops into a staple of the main cast. In the role, Arya combines a sharp sense of intelligence with deep competency, as one of the few characters in the show that isn't a total screw-up. She also injects the role with a playful irreverence and cheekiness which masks some pretty deep emotional scarring. That's a pretty massive tick in the Doctor playbook. Arya's stint in soap opera Doctors, as well as her big film break in 2023's Polite Society, also showcases her range as an actress. And purely because it's worth mentioning, she also appeared in 2023's Barbie alongside the 15th Doctor himself, Ncuti Gatwa. She's also no stranger to Doctor Who, having previously played Gat in Fugitive of the Judoon, a character that makes a pretty strong impression with a very limited screen time. Gat is a fellow Time Lord and a member of the Division, so I'm clearly not alone in sensing some Doctorish qualities in her. Chibnall has already cast her as a Time Lord. She would bring an energetic, perhaps slightly more manic Doctor to screens that is still more than capable of mustering the depth of emotion required for the role. I see her as a Doctor in Whittaker's vein, one that has a lot of adventure and a thirst for knowledge. She's got the credentials, the right level of fame, and she's not currently attached to any major projects. Just putting it out there. Number 5. Sophia Di Martino. Sophia Di Martino has already proven herself more than capable of this role. Nowadays, she's best known for her role in Loki, aka the most Doctor Who-ish show outside of the Whoniverse. As Sylvie, Loki's counterpart from another timeline, she brought wit, a chaotic energy, and a level of emotional complexity to the show. She also serves as an oracle of sorts when it comes to explaining timelines and alien planets, running across various apocalypses with Loki in tow. She's practically playing the Doctor in this show, just a slightly stabbier one. Di Martino is effortlessly charming, mischievous, and intimidating in equal measure, managing to go toe-to-toe with Tom Hiddleston in his natural element and hold her own. No easy feat. She also has an indirect but noticeable link to Doctor Who. Kate Herron, who directed and produced the first season of Loki, who was approached by Russell T Davies after Loki aired to pen the season 1 episode Rogue. So we know that Di Martino is firmly on Russell T Davies' radar at the very least. Di Martino would bring an expressive but also deeply enigmatic Doctor to screens, and would excel in these moments where the Doctor goes off the rails. We could see her shining in any Time Lord victorious moments while still maintaining that playful energy. If the show is looking to recapture what made Tennant shine without attempting to outright copy him, Di Martino is an outrageously strong choice. Number 4. Robert Sheehan. Robert Sheehan has spent much of his career playing quirky oddballs, and that makes him an ideal candidate for the Doctor. His breakout role came in Channel 4's Misfits, where he played Nathan, a mouthy wind-up merchant with severe behaviour issues, a character that's equally endearing and outrageous. Sheehan is the clear star of the show due to his mastery of comedy, but it was the flashes of loneliness and vulnerability that made Nathan more than just comic relief. Sheehan later doubled down on a similar character in The Umbrella Academy. Klaus is likely the role he's best known for nowadays, and it's not difficult to see a doctorish streak in his performance. Flamboyant, witty, irreverent, but deeply steeped in trauma. There's also a warmth to Klaus that was less present in Misfits, reassuring us that Sheehan can play a character with heart and compassion. Having been born in Ireland, Sheehan is not from the UK. Good man, Sheehan. But somehow this feels like less of a departure than, say, an American Doctor. An Irish Doctor would break the UK tradition. Again, good man, Sheehan. But at least we're keeping it fairly close to home, and it certainly would be worth it to see Sheehan behind the TARDIS controls. I imagine his Doctor would be a bit of a live wire, who keeps you on your toes with chaos and laughter one moment and cold menace the next. He may be slightly out of the show's league these days, but not impossibly so. Fingers crossed. Number 3. Alexander Siddig. Alexander Siddig is best known to sci-fi fans for his role as Dr. Julian Bashir in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, a character that evolved dramatically over the course of the show, transforming from eager, fresh-faced recruit to a more nuanced and conflicted officer, a very similar acting spectrum to that required for the Doctor. Siddig has made a career out of playing similar roles, with a calculated and slightly grey approach to morality. In Primeval, he played Philip Burton, a cold businessman whose scientific ambitions often clashed with his more do-goody colleagues. In Gotham, he appeared as Ra's al Ghul, a figure of immense power and mystique, but also a charm and class that made him a rather amicable criminal. Add in his admittedly uneventful turn as Doran Martell in Game of Thrones, and you have an actor who is no stranger to the nerd world, and also has some fairly solid credentials playing as schemers and orators. Siddig would mark a return to an older, more classical Doctor, likely one with Machiavellian tendencies, a modern McCoy perhaps. At 59 years of age, he might not want to be running up and down corridors all day, but that would only force the show to make a more dramatic approach, with less reliance on the old crash bang wallop. The man may not have got many Oscars to his name, but that doesn't mean people don't recognise him. He is a household face, exactly the level of fame ideal for the show. Number 2. Elizabeth Dulau. Elizabeth Dulau is a relative unknown, emerging recently as a standout in the Star Wars spin-off Andor. Dulau plays Clea Markey, the highly competent assistant to Stellan Skarsgård's Luthen, and frankly, the unsung hero of the entire show. Clea is a character defined by authority, tenacity, and a calm, calculated demeanour in the face of outright terror. She quietly commands every scene she's in with confidence and a sense of control that never needs to shout to be felt. Those traits align perfectly with the Doctor, who often relies on intellect, strategy, and moral authority. The Doctor is a character that always feels like the most powerful person in the room, despite the odds, and this is a vibe that Dulau gives off in spades, in spite of projecting an almost unbreakable, composed exterior. This is a character we saw saddled with some extremely emotional moments, handling grief and desperation expertly without losing that sense of cool. What makes her particularly exciting as a candidate is her breakout status. Unlike many actors on this list, who have already got an established career, Dulau is a relatively unknown person when it comes to wider audiences, but deeply popular right now in the sci-fi sphere. She's likely in high demand, and unlike some on this list, a show like Doctor Who may well be the logical next step in her career. Number 1, David Tennant. I know this is a bit of an outlier, but we think it could be an exciting shake-up for the formula of the show if we brought David Tennant. I'm joking, we got you. Number 1, Will Sharp. Will Sharp is one of the most interesting names on this list. If the rumour mill is to be believed, he was Russell T Davies's second choice to play the 15th Doctor. And honestly, you can see why. Sharp has risen in prominence in recent years thanks to the success of The White Lotus, in which he plays Ethan, a complex character whose quiet exterior masks insecurity, jealousy, and inner conflict. Earlier in his career, Sharp made waves with Flowers, a show he wrote, directed, and starred in. That series explored mental illness and family dynamics, but with a slightly offbeat and wacky touch. This guy is a real talent, and a perfect match for a show that often sits in a similar tonal space. Sharp is an exceptional actor, and has a face that can speak 1,000 words. He has a subtlety to him, and is more than capable of conveying turmoil and trauma without saying a thing. That kind of emotional control could make for a fascinating Doctor, perhaps a little detached and cerebral. One of fewer words, but one that, like Smith, can carry the weight of age despite his youth. Born in London and raised partly in Tokyo, he also brings a dual character background and could serve as our first mainline Doctor with an Asian heritage. Fun fact, he's also married to Sophia Di Martino, a fellow alum of this list. Why don't we change things up and have them both helm the TARDIS at the same time? That's the kind of switch up we need, not another reminder that it's not 2008 anymore. And that's everything for our list today, folks. Thank you so much. Do any of the names on this list light your excitement on fire, or do you have someone you would really like to see pilot the TARDIS? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much, Alex, who wrote the article this is based on. You can catch that over on whatculture.com. Please make sure you're following us at Who Culture. Make sure that you are subscribed, and make sure you're on all of the socials, because that's where we like to bring you information. You are awesome. You are wonderful. Look after yourselves. Keep things wibbly wobbly. Thanks.